Chapter 61, Chapter 61, Chapter 61, Immortal Stone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 61, Chapter 61, Immortal Stone, Translator, 549690339. The Sky Spirit weapon had already transcended the typical meaning of weapon grades. Its power was terrifying. With a few swipes of the sword, the black bands in front of him fluttered in the air like shredded paper. This sight left the two fellows dumbfounded. Big brother, what on earth is going on? He can actually sever our soul strips so effortlessly. Lauer exclaimed, how the hell should I know, it's damn confusing. The elder brother scolded angrily, brother, should we just retreat for now? How can you call it retreating? It's a strategic withdrawal, understand? Brother is so mighty. Lauer, let's get out of here. After their idiotic conversation ended, they looked at Jiang Xiaobai with an expression of annoyance, then they saw the two men's black bands wildly dancing in the sky. By the time it all ended, the dim-witted brothers had disappeared, and Jiang Xiaobai, even with his divine consciousness fully spread, could not sense them. For a moment, Jiang Xiaobai stood blankly in place, looking at the long sword in his hand in silence. What on earth had he run into? This cultivation world is truly strange. Not only are there such characters, but despite their mental issues, their attacking methods are so unique. Jiang Xiaobai put away his sword and murmured, that's right, what did these two guys want from me? Did I steal something from them? He was clueless, until he finally remembered the mysterious key he found in the abandoned cave. That was the only possibility. Originally, he had no thoughts about the mysterious key, but now it seemed that others were also looking for it. Although he did not know what it was for, it must be something good. Having figured that out, an idea sprouted in Jiang Xiaobai's mind. If he could capture these dumb brothers alive, he might learn the truth about the key through interrogation. However, those two ran away too fast, and Jiang Xiaobai currently doesn't have any good means of tracking them, so he could only give up. But Jiang Xiaobai knew they would most definitely return once they had their money, and he wasn't in a hurry. Shrugging his shoulders, Jiang Xiaobai didn't take this matter to heart. The two big monsters in the South Mountain were already killed, but he didn't hear the system notification for completing the mission. Clearly, there were other monsters in the South Mountain. At that moment, Jiang Xiaobai began searching for monsters all over the mountain, aiming to purge this place first. Despite not being a large mountain, it must be said that there were quite a few monsters on this mountain. Jiang Xiaobai spent 2 hours killing more than 30 monsters before the area was finally cleared. Upon completing the mission, the system notified him about the reward. It was a randomly generated dividing the gods talisman, and he was not informed immediately what he had won after he completed the reward, but he had to check it himself. He didn't have time for that right now. After completing the mission, he spread his divine mind completely and began looking for clues in the surroundings. Jiang Xiaobai finally discovered that the only place in the South Mountain with unusually thick aura was the cave where the two big monsters were. Back in the cave of the Black Bear Spirit, Jiang Xiaobai took out the Meandering Veins record. The book slowly floated in the air, then opened on its own, followed by a flash of golden light. A real-time map then appeared in Jiang Xiaobai's mind. One glance at it, and he was grinning from ear to ear. A large red dot appeared on the map, even larger than the one he had seen in the ruined cave, and the red dot's color was incredibly vivid. If he wasn't mistaken, there was indeed a divine stone mine underneath. Furthermore, the size and quality of the mine were quite impressive. Without any hesitation, Jiang Xiaobai immediately burrowed underground and soon found the location of the mine. He created a cavity around him and then carefully examined the massive divine stone in front of him. The density of aura in the divine stone was very high, at least at the level of mid-grade divine stones. After discovering this, Jiang Xiaobai laughed with joy. Indeed, heaven aids the diligent. He had finally found something good. Subsequently, he excitedly began to inspect the entire mine and discovered that the quality of the divine stones in the mine was generally high. The raw stones that could be made into top-grade divine stones occupied 1/3 of the mine. What a pleasant surprise! At the same time, the size of the divine stone mine was also very satisfying. Jiang Xiaobai roughly estimated that its worth was at least several 10 million top-grade divine stones. This thing could serve as a life-saving trump card even if he didn't use it and gave it to Dragon Valley. Having found the divine stone mine, Jiang Xiaobai felt more relaxed. No matter what the ancient clan intended to do in Dragon Valley, he had the ability to protect himself. If it really came down to it, he could pull everyone down with him by using up all his humble merits. It would probably be enough. Don't underestimate how little merit he'd gain from 5 Lotus Mountain. Remember, even the slightest bit of merit could trigger divine punishment. He could use those merits to summon one such powerful thunder. Once assured, Jiang Xiaobai prepared to use another feature of the Meandering Veins record. He discovered this feature the first time he found the abandoned mine. This Meandering Veins record could even absorb the divine stone veins, or the land veins, into it. As expected of a sky spirit treasure, it was truly terrifying. Just as he was about to collect the vein, his brow furrowed, his gaze penetrating the soil layer and looking ahead, he sensed a powerful aura fluctuation. Though it was strong, it only appeared for an instant and disappeared almost as soon as Jiang Xiaobai noticed it. Immediately, Jiang Xiaobai used Earth Escape to rush towards its source. While moving, he was observing carefully, and not long after, the fluctuation of spiritual power came again, with only a dozen minutes or so since the last. Thus, Jiang Xiaobai kept determining its location based on the fluctuation and ultimately found a sapphire stone in the center of the vein. The palm-sized stone was very neat and emanated a vast aura. Before Jiang Xiaobai figured out what it was, the Meandering Veins record in his hand suddenly opened on its own, stopping on a certain page. Looking down, Jiang Xiaobai saw an image depicted vividly on the page. It was the sapphire stone he held. Not only that, there was also a footnote next to it. This is actually a celestial stone. Jiang Xiaobai exclaimed. According to the Meandering Veins record, this thing was a celestial stone, which contained not spiritual energy but celestial energy, which was a higher tier power beyond the understanding of ordinary cultivators. Upon this discovery, Jiang Xiaobai was overjoyed. He didn't expect to come out looking for a life-saving undercard, only to find the ace up his sleeve. Chapter 62, Chapter 62, Chapter 62, They Just Ran Away. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 62, Chapter 62, They Just Ran Away. Translator, 549690339. That he didn't believe anyone could resist the allure of this piece of immortal stone if he were to take it out. Without hesitation, he put the immortal stone into his storage space and then lowered his head to look at the book. Only then did he realize that the stone he had found was merely a low-grade immortal stone. There were also middle-grade, high-grade, and top-grade immortal stones. The low-grade immortal stones were azure, the middle-grade ones were pale yellow, the high-grade ones were red, and the top-grade ones were purple. Even though it was just a low-grade immortal stone, it was still extremely precious. After all, logically speaking, these things should not appear in places like this. Moreover, it was precisely due to the presence of this immortal stone that the quality of this vein was so exaggerated. Jiang Xiaobai fell into deep thought for a while. Ever since he had crossed over to this continent, his understanding of the land was quite limited. He only knew very little. Now that he had seen this immortal stone, Jiang Xiaobai felt something was wrong. However, it was quite clear that thinking about these unnecessary things was meaningless when he was currently unable to protect himself. Shrugging his shoulders, Jiang Xiaobai stopped thinking and used the Meandering Veins record to collect this vein directly. The moment he collected it, the majestic spiritual aura within the Nanshan mountain began to dissipate. It was like extinguishing a cigarette. The rising smoke would lose its source and eventually float away. After doing all of this, an excited smile finally appeared on Jiang Xiaobai's face. Sitting in the cave of the Black Bear Demon, he finally let out a sigh of relief. After calming down his emotions, Jiang Xiaobai opened the system storage space. He wanted to see what good stuff he had just drawn. There was one piece of pitch-black talisman quietly lying in the storage space. After checking it, Jiang Xiaobai was pleasantly surprised to find out that it was actually a defensive talisman. It could instantly generate a protective shield once it was crushed, and it could withstand the striking force of the Dividing the Gods late peak stage without breaking. Ha ha ha, this was not a wasted trip. Jiang Xiaobai laughed excitedly. This harvest was quite rich. He felt like his luck had increased a bit. Jiang Xiaobai was in high spirits. He left the cave of the black bear demon humming a tune, relishing the fresh, earthy air of the mountains. He felt refreshed and invigorated. Take this. At this moment, a slightly Chuyuni voice sounded above Jiang Xiaobai's head and black band started attacking him. In that instant, Jiang Xiaobai felt a painful sting all over his body, and instinctively, he reached for his sword. Swish, swish, the bands were cut easily as if they were tofu, and when they fell to the ground, they transformed into spiritual energy and dissipated, then peace was restored. Jiang Xiaobai stood still for a good while. He knew that was an attack from the two dim-witted brothers. What surprised him was that those two had actually run away right after failing their ambush. That's so damn cheap. Are they really not giving me a chance? Jiang Xiaobai murmured to himself, looking at the band fragments on the ground that were disintegrating into spiritual energy. He felt a chill down his spine. If it hadn't been for the system reward of 100 years of cultivation experience he'd received just before, his battle senses wouldn't have been this sharp and he could have been successfully ambushed. After this battle, Jiang Xiaobai decided to enhance his abilities in this aspect in the future. In addition, he must also have life-saving and attacking techniques. If not, situations like today would be difficult to handle. As soon as he made a move, the opponent found out that he was not a match for him and immediately fled. Jiang Xiaobai was left with no solution at all. Shaking his head, Jiang Xiaobai leaped up. The matter here had already been settled. There was no need for him to stay any longer. Just as he flew out of the Nanshan mountain, suddenly, he saw 7 or 8 cultivators not far from the city gate of Spring Lake City. The person in the lead was none other than Taoist Changfeng. Judging by his furious expression, it seemed as if he had come to stir up trouble. At this moment, Jiang Xiaobai narrowed his eyes and snorted coldly. Following after them, inside Spring Lake City, all the residents were indulging in the joy of exterminating the monster. Li Muzhou and Sun Shoheng were getting drunk in the city lord's mansion. Unexpectedly, this joyful atmosphere was suddenly broken by someone. Taoist Changfeng, leading his people, directly invaded the city lord's mansion. His face was filled with dark and threatening fury as he stared at Sun Shoheng and Li Muzhou. Where is that kid? He caused my friend to lose an important treasure earlier, and I must hold him responsible. Call him over immediately, bellowed Taoist Changfeng. This scene stunned everyone present in the city lord's mansion. Sun Shoheng hurriedly stood up. Sir, what do you mean by this? Humph, I don't mean anything. I have only one purpose for coming here, to see that boy. Taoist Changfeng snorted coldly. He had lost face in the Nanshan mountain today and he couldn't swallow this insult. When he returned, he immediately gathered a few loose cultivators to give Jiang Xiaobai a good thrashing. Although he was relatively angry, he still had to maintain the demeanor of a cultivator in the presence of mortals. Rest assured, this is a grudge between the boy and me. Since he is a chi refining beginner, he is also a cultivator. This is a matter between cultivators and it won't affect ordinary people. Taoist Changfeng stated coldly. Sun Shoheng and Li Muzhou looked at each other, and both saw the shock and confusion in each other's eyes. I am not trying to keep anything from you, sir, but that young man has already left for some reason, bravely explained Li Muzhou. What, he ran away? Taoist Changfeng spat blood in anger. He didn't expect this little bunny to be so vigilant and he had run away. Earlier, in Nanshan, there were too many mortals around. Although he didn't care about the mortals, he was a face-conscious cultivator. He couldn't take action under those circumstances. Now that he'd found the perfect excuse, however, the person has run away. Looking at Taoist Changfeng's furious appearance, Sun Shoheng and Li Muzhou didn't dare to breathe, fearing they'd enrage Taoist Changfeng and be eliminated by him on the spot. At this moment, a burly man beside Taoist Changfeng snorted coldly. Since he just left, we could still catch up. Do either of you know where the boy has gone? We don't know, replied Sun Shoheng hastily. Then what use are you? The burly man snorted and raised his hand, as if ready to kill the two men on the spot. The hand of a cultivator upon a mortal was as simple as crushing an ant. Sun Shoheng and Li Muzhou's faces turned pale immediately. They closed their eyes awaiting their death. However, the anticipated attack didn't come. The burly man's hand hovered mid-air, unable to move further. Damn it, who's causing trouble? The burly man shouted back in anger. At this point, a scholar-like figure entered the scene. It was none other than Jiang Xiaobai who had followed them. "It's you." Taoist Changfeng recognized him immediately and shouted, "Brothers, it's this kid." At once, the other cultivators turned their attention to Jiang Xiaobai, their faces showing cruel, cold smiles. "Kid, didn't think you'd have the guts to come back. You're quite courageous, huh?" Taoist Changfeng smirked. Chapter 63, Chapter 63, Chapter 63, It's You. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 63, Chapter 63, It's You. Translator, 549690339. Jiang Xiaobai looked indifferent. "You are cultivators, wielding great powers, yet you attack ordinary people. Do you really think that it's fitting to call yourselves cultivators?" Mortals are nothing but ants to us cultivators. "What does it matter if we kill them?" scoffed the burly man. "Do you know that committing such casual killings, especially of mortals, will bring you karmic obstructions? In minor cases, you will go to hell after death, while severe cases will lead to karmic explosions, causing you to be completely burned by karmic fire." Jiang Xiaobai retorted coldly. As these words were spoken, the cultivators were taken aback, totally unaware of such matters. "What a bunch of idiots." Jiang Xiaobai shook his head continually. "Insolent. How dare a piece of trash at the beginning stage of qi refining talk to me like this?" The burly man snorted coldly. "Stealing my things and daring to provoke me, you are undoubtedly going to die today." Upon hearing those words, Jiang Xiaobai slightly squinted his eyes and then turned towards Taoist Changfeng. He naturally understood the implication, as they merely wanted a pretext to attack him, under the guise of rectitude. "In that case, let's take it outside," Jiang Xiaobai retorted coldly. "This is the city of mortals, fearing that we might not have enough space to fight. What a joke. In dealing with a trash at the initial stage of qi refining like you, what methods do I need? I can easily suppress you." The burly man sneered repeatedly and charged forward with a punch directed at Jiang Xiaobai's head, but before his fist could strike, people only saw a flash of sword light, easily cutting off the arm of the burly man and beheading him at the same time. Such a spectacle left everyone stunned. How could a qi refining phase cultivator be this powerful? "Changfeng, you fucking screwed me over," another cultivator exploded in rage, starting to flee. After cultivating for so many years, who isn't sly? Seeing Jiang Xiaobai kill with one blow, how could they not realize the terror of his strength? They immediately started running in different directions. Taoist Changfeng also didn't expect Jiang Xiaobai to be so formidable. Upon seeing how easily the latter had killed the tiger demon earlier, Changfeng decided to enlist several aides for assurance. However, it turned out that Jiang Xiaobai was far stronger than he had imagined. At that moment, Taoist Changfeng knew he was in deep trouble. Not caring about his face or dignity, he started running like a dog with its tail between its legs. Being a cultivator, his speed was incredibly fast, and he had quickly rushed out of Spring Lake City. While fleeing, Taoist Changfeng produced a jade token and shouted, "Big brother, save me." In a mountain cave about 300 li from Spring Lake City, an elderly Taoist in the latter stages of foundation establishment suddenly opened his eyes, a hint of gloom within. He then snorted coldly, disappearing in an instant. On the other hand, in Spring Lake City, Jiang Xiaobai deliberately waited until those people left before chasing after them. To start a fight within the city of mortals would risk innocent casualties. He was well aware of what karmic obstructions were. Just like merit, karmic obstructions increased significantly with the massacre of mortals. He had to be careful, or his recently accumulated merit might be devoured by those obstructions. Once he was out of Spring Lake City, a long sword appeared in Jiang Xiaobai's hand. This was a divine sword he had acquired from the frivolous man. With just a swing of his hand, several sword lights flashed, killing all the fleeing cultivators. These cultivators had more or less some karmic obstructions. After killing them, Jiang Xiaobai visibly felt the merit in him, which was originally the size of a pinky finger, increase a little. Well, it was just a tiny bit, but it was definitely increasing. At this point, only Taoist Changfeng remained on the scene, scared out of his wits. The events here had caught the attention of the residents of Spring Lake City. They all gathered around the city wall, staring blankly, unable to comprehend why the two Taoists, who were amicable in the morning, suddenly began fighting, not to mention, they were fighting to the death, with bloodshed and loss of lives. Fortunately, Sun Shoheng and others hurriedly explained the situation, and the crowd finally understood that the virtuous-looking Taoist Changfeng had such a vicious heart. Who are you exactly? Why does a beginner qi refining stage person like you have such formidable strength? Taoist Changfeng asked, frightened, and wetting himself. He had seen with his own eyes a guy whose strength was almost equal to his own, bisected by a single strike from Jiang Xiaobai. The terrifying scene had left a traumatic shadow in his heart. Jiang Xiaobai looked indifferent, sighing, why did you insist on messing with me? Was it not good enough just to be Taoist Changfeng? Don't come over, I warn you, don't step closer. My big brother is just nearby, he has reached the late stages of foundation establishment, it will be a piece of cake for him to kill you. Seeing Jiang Xiaobai steadily approaching, Taoist Changfeng cried out hysterically. Just then, a figure rushed over from the side, radiating the aura of a late-stage foundation establishment cultivator. Big brother, you are finally here. On seeing this person, Taoist Changfeng stopped crying and yelling, and a complacent look spread across his face. Ha, my big brother is here, your end is near. Taoist Changfeng burst into boisterous laughter. Then, he looked at the newcomer. Big brother, this kid has abundant treasures, once we kill him, whatever we get from him is all yours. The newcomer snorted coldly, then turned his head to look at Jiang Xiaobai, but as he was about to speak, he was abruptly taken aback. He had a feeling that he had seen him somewhere before. Suddenly, a grand scene came to mind, which was over half a month ago when he had gone to the legendary Dragon Valley to attend a wedding with his dear elder brother. Wasn't the person before him the same mortal who had debated eloquently at the wedding? So it's you. The old Taoist, Black Tiger, glared at Jiang Xiaobai, his face gradually turning fierce. Ha ha. Fortune indeed favors the bold. I can't believe I stumbled upon you, a mere mortal here. Black Tiger Taoist roared with laughter. Why aren't you hiding in Dragon Valley? You dare to run out here. Could it be that you have been kicked out? Seeing this, Jiang Xiaobai immediately realized that this guy was likely one of the people who had attended the wedding, and couldn't help but feel a sense of speechlessness. Well, it looked like any old Tom, Dick, and Harry were qualified to go to Dragon Valley for an event of such great significance. Ao Yan's scheme to humiliate the ancient clan back then was indeed unparalleled. You were so cocky at that time, weren't you? Feeling like you were destined to be the prince consort of the Dragon Valley princess, acting so arrogantly. Now that I, your grandfather, am standing before you, why don't you continue with your slurs? Sneered Black Tiger Taoist. Kneel down immediately, and I might spare your life. Jiang Xiaobai squinted his eyes expressionlessly. Do I look like I am easy to bully? What a joke, you are nothing but a mortal, I could crush you easily. You are worse than an easy target, you're someone anyone could bully. As he said these words, a jade inscription appeared in the hand of Black Tiger Taoist. Big brother, you must come quickly. I found the mortal who insulted us that day. I am at Spring Lake City. I have already captured him. You must spread the news immediately. There will definitely be people eager to destroy this guy. We can make a big fortune out of this. Chapter 64, Chapter 64, Chapter 64, 3 Mentally Challenged Brothers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 64, Chapter 64, 3 Mentally Challenged Brothers, Translator, 549690339. Upon hearing the man across from him, Jiang Xiaobai's eyes nearly popped out. He hadn't realized that such a means of communication existed. His scalp prickled. He had made a scene at the wedding in Long Valley, humiliating hundreds of thousands of cultivators. If word got out, he could only dread the future consequences. Although he was more powerful than 99% of the people there at the time, he was still only one person. An army of ants could kill an elephant, after all. He was not insane to take on tens of thousands of people. Despite his strength, he couldn't wipe out the world with a single sword stroke. The sea of people tactic was always useful. With a slight difference in level, he could be dragged down to death by bodies alone, once his spiritual power was depleted, Jiang Xiaobai would be left waiting for death. Hee, mortal, let's see how you swagger now, Taoist Black Tiger sneered coldly and charged at Jiang Xiaobai. Jiang Xiaobai felt that things were getting out of hand. Without hesitation, he brandished his sword, thrusting it directly at Taoist Black Tiger's heart. The sword easily pierced through the man's heart. Jiang Xiaobai didn't pay attention to the incredulous look in his eyes and swiftly killed Taoist Changfeng standing nearby with a quick sword thrust. Then, he made a run for it. It would be okay if he was facing one or two strong opponents, but he stood no chance against hundreds or thousands of strong practitioners. There would be no chance of escape. He had insulted these men and their families before, and many had suffered losses because of him. He could only imagine the level of their resentment. Moreover, there were two blockheads constantly ambushing him, making the situation outside extremely perilous. Anyway, he had done what needed to be done. He needed to get back to Long Valley immediately. He jumped a few times and then vanished into the dense forest. Jiang Xiaobai then immediately turned to Earth Escape to flee the area. After escaping from that area, he flew into the sky and hurried back. Thus, he flew through the air and occasionally dug into the ground. Jiang Xiaobai headed cautiously toward Long Valley. Not long after his escape, dozens of cultivators arrived at Spring Lake City. Each of them emanated terrifying auras. Even the weakest among them was a cultivator in the late stage of the golden pill phase. Anger filled their distorted faces. Damn it, he managed to escape. One of them gnashed his teeth in fury. I won't let this pass. I want everyone to capture him. When he's captured, I will tear him to pieces. I want to extract his soul and let him endure the agony of refining fire for all eternity. These were the big shots who ruled this world, unabashedly uttering such words. It revealed how much they cared for Jiang Xiaobai. Unfortunately, Jiang Xiaobai could not see this spectacle. At the moment, he had already begun his frantic escape. He could only imagine the horrifying scene if these people found him. They were greatly affected by the damage done to their families. How could these cultivators let Jiang Xiaobai go? So, bearing in mind the saying, the best strategy is to run, Jiang Xiaobai chose to make his way toward Long Valley as fast as possible without any hesitation. After a day and a night of frantic fleeing, Jiang Xiaobai was nearing Long Valley's territory. It was now just 10,000 miles away. Thinking of this, he felt a great sense of relief. His pace slowed a bit. Those fellas wouldn't be lurking here, waiting for him, would they? After another half-day's walk, Jiang Xiaobai arrived near Xuanhuan City. Suddenly, he remembered that Qian de Bao had asked him to find time to negotiate with his family. Having thought about it, Jiang Xiaobai decided not to go to Xuanhuan City. Qian de Bao might just have been meant as bait. He didn't have time to deal with such an insignificant young master. He had too many things to deal with right now. His biggest trouble was already on his tail. He didn't know what would happen after the ancient tribe reached Long Valley. For now, Jiang Xiaobai felt that he had done everything that could be done. With the aces up his sleeve, he felt that he could manage to survive. Then, he simply passed by Xuanhuan City on his way to Long Valley. Not far behind Jiang Xiaobai, two guys wrapped in black bandages were stealthily tailing him. Even if any cultivators could see them, they wouldn't appear within their spiritual perception. Big brother, this guy really knows how to run. We can't even keep up, Lao Er whispered. Why are you whispering? It's not like the guy up front can hear you, Lao Er scolded. Big brother, when should we make our move? Wait for the right opportunity. When will it be the right opportunity? I don't know. The two blockheads finished their conversation and continued to follow Jiang Xiaobai. Suddenly, the elder brother's eyebrows creased. Speaking of which, where's the third one? Hasn't he given us any news for quite some time now? Not sure. Isn't our third brother supposed to come over? He is almost done with his affairs. Just as they were speaking, a figure suddenly appeared beside the two of them. Big brother, a simple-minded voice sounded. Damn it, you scared the hell out of me. Can't you keep your voice down? What if the guy up front hears us? The eldest brother shivered in fright. The simple-minded third brother scratched his head while smiling innocently. He was a strapping fellow. The elder brother and second brother could combine their sizes but still wouldn't be as big as him. Third brother, this time our target is pretty stubborn. It's a good thing you're back, too. Together, we brothers can show him what a real black belt formation is, the eldest brother said firmly. Big brother is mighty. Big brother is awesome. Hearing his brother's praises, the eldest brother felt sure that conquering Jiang Xiaobai was just a matter of time. Walking ahead, Jiang Xiaobai had an unsettling feeling that made him feel as if his heart was in his throat. Could it be those blockheads are planning another ambush? Jiang Xiaobai mumbled to himself. During his escape over the last few days, he had been fleeing desperately, intermittently using his escape technique. Thanks to this, the blockheads hadn't found a chance to ambush him, but this peculiar feeling was telling him that there might be danger ahead. As he contemplated, a fierce sword light suddenly attacked from the front. Jiang Xiaobai reacted quickly, dodging by bending down. At the same time, a dozen figures emerged from the surrounding dense forest, armed with long spears and rods, and they surrounded Jiang Xiaobai. These men were all dressed in black, their faces hidden behind masks. It was impossible to tell what they looked like, but each one emanated the aura of a late-level golden pill cultivator. Among them was even an early-level Yuan infant cultivator. Seeing the reality of the ambush, Jiang Xiaobai gave himself a thumbs up for his own astuteness. However, after seeing the formation and strength of these men, he laughed inwardly. Even if they doubled in number, he could easily deal with them, but the question now was, who was behind all this? Chapter 65, Chapter 65, Chapter 65. This is too bizarre, right? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 65, Chapter 65. This is too bizarre, right? Translator, 549690339. This question lingered in Jiang Xiaobai's heart for a long time without finding an answer. If it was the ancient clan, they were about to reach the Dragon Valley, there was no reason for them to do this. If it's Ao Tianheng and his crew, they wouldn't use this lowly method. If they did, they would make sure it's a sure kill. And at the very least, they wouldn't send an assassin from the Golden Core stage. This instantly reminded Jiang Xiaobai of the time he was poisoned. Maybe this group was sent by the same person. It seems I can only capture one alive and question them thoroughly, Jiang Xiaobai muttered to himself, already having selected a divine quality longsword in his hand. The dozen or so men in black did not utter a single sound. After surrounding Jiang Xiaobai, they did not attack immediately, as if they were waiting for something. At this moment, a figure appeared, not another man in black, but a woman. The woman was dressed in purple, wearing a black robe over her clothes. Her hair wasn't long, with delicate features, and overall gave an impression of being neat and tidy. I've waited for you for a long time, Jiang Xiaobai. Seeing Jiang Xiaobai, a cold smirk appeared on her face. The intonation with which she addressed Jiang Xiaobai was especially pronounced. My lady, I don't believe I've offended you. Jiang Xiaobai raised an eyebrow. You have indeed not offended me. But someone paid me to kill you, so I have no choice. The woman sneered. Even though I'm quite curious, why they would hire me to deal with a mere qi refining beginner. But the money they offered is so much that I couldn't refuse. All right then, but could you satisfy my curiosity before I die? Jiang Xiaobai chuckled, showing no hint of resignation in the face of death. Go ahead, say it. How much money did the person who wants my life pay you? The woman in ZE, purple dress, coldly laughed. 10,000 superior. Spirit stones. As soon as these words left her mouth, Jiang Xiaobai was stunned in place, feeling like he was about to cough up some blood. 10,000 superior spirit stones. Was his life only worth that much? At that moment, Jiang Xiaobai wanted nothing more than to catch the person stirring up trouble and give them a good rub on the ground, fiercely. That is, who the hell thought his life was only worth this much money? Enough, I think you've learned everything you need to know. Prepare for your journey to the other side. Ze chuckled coldly, then tilted her chin up a little. The dozen or so men in black slowly approached Jiang Xiaobai. Even though their faces were hidden, Jiang Xiaobai could feel the sadistic laughter emanating from them. Clearly, they saw him as a poor little rabbit, ready for the butcher. Jiang Xiaobai sighed, gripping his longsword tightly, his face alert. Not far behind him, 3 men were hiding on a tree branch, observing the situation. It was the stupid brothers that had been following them all the time. "Brother, this kid seems to have a lot of enemies." The second of the stupid brothers remarked, "What do we do if they kill him?" The third of the stupid brothers asked, looking confused, "That absolutely cannot happen, the things are on him. If they kill him, the things will be taken." The oldest of the stupid brothers' eyes glittered sharply. "We need to act and kill all these people. We can't let other people take our stuff." Brother is wise. Brother is right. Then let's take action. The eldest brother of the stupid brothers shouted, and the 3 of them revealed themselves immediately. In the blink of an eye, they had arrived at the periphery of the circle made by the men in black. Ziyi's brow furrowed as she noticed there were more people, and these few had a very robust aura of their cultivation. "The 3 of you, what are you up to?" Ziyi asked coldly, glaring at the stupid brothers' trio. I'm telling you, this kid is ours, no one else can touch him." The second stupid brother shouted, "Get lost quickly, or don't blame us for not being polite." The third stupid brother looked ready to take action. "Why waste our words on them? Let's act." The eldest stupid brother again gave his advice with brilliant wisdom. Immediately following that, the stupid brothers roared and the black bandages on their bodies became airborne, transforming into a large hammer. Smash! With a loud roar, the giant hammer plummeted from the sky. Seeing this, the men in black tried to stop the approach, ignoring Jiang Xiaobai, but unfortunately, they were all at the golden core stage, and was no match for the stupid brothers trio. One hammer blow knocked down more than half of the men in black, blood and body parts flew, the scene becoming intensely cruel for a while. Ze was stunned. "Who exactly are you?" "Shut up, woman," the second stupid brother sneered, flipping his wrist. The black bandages on his body shot straight towards Ze. Ze, a mid-yuan infant-level cultivator, wasn't scared off. She quickly pulled out a dagger and blocked the attack from the bandage. However, within this brief moment, the other 2 stupid brothers had completely finished off the remaining men in black around them. Ze was so angry she felt like vomiting blood. "Damn it." With a furious growl, Ze knew if she didn't escape now, there might not be another chance. "You wait, Jiang Xiaobai, I didn't expect you to have helpers. If you're capable, never leave Dragon Valley in your whole life." Ze threw out that sentence and then quickly escaped. No kidding, although those 3 seemed a little dim-witted, their strength was outrageously high, and she was simply no match for them. After driving Ze away, the stupid brothers trio stood before Jiang Xiaobai. At this moment, Jiang Xiaobai was completely stunned. He really felt something was wrong. If he remembered correctly, weren't these 3 men also wanting to kill him for his possessions? Why did they help him get rid of these men in black? Even if that was the case, the key point was that the stupid brothers trio didn't hold back. Their moves were lethal, and now there wasn't even a single person left on the ground apart from the corpses. He originally wanted to capture a prisoner and question them. But it seemed like that was now impossible. "Kid, I'll give you one more chance. There are 3 of us brothers now, you can't possibly be a match for us." The eldest of the stupid brothers shouted. Jiang Xiaobai was silent, already quietly switching the divine quality longsword in his hand for a secondary spiritual treasure longsword. He knew that only a secondary spiritual treasure could resist the bandages on the bodies of the stupid brothers trio. "Big brother, the kid seems to know no better," the second stupid brother shouted. "What's there to discuss with him? Just go for it. Big brother is very mighty." Immediately after that, the stupid brothers trio yelled angrily. The bandages in mid-air transformed into a large hammer once again, descending right towards Jiang Xiaobai's head. Despite the fierce momentum, Jiang Xiaobai felt that the hammer seemed to have little height. He spun the long sword in his hand, and the moment the hammer fell, it was chopped by his long sword dozens of times. Before it even landed on Jiang Xiaobai's head, the black bandages had turned into fluff in mid-air, leaving only the handle of the large hammer. For a moment, the area was as silent as a graveyard. Chapter 66, Chapter 66, Chapter 66, Son-in-law, you're finally back. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 66, Chapter 66, Son-in-law, you're finally back. Translator, 549690339. Oh no, the kid knows how to counter us. So, what do we do now? Strategically retreat for now, then find a chance to ambush him. As the eldest brother says. Retreat. Instantly, their bandages fluttered wildly about them, and then they disappeared, as if they had never been there in the first place. In haste they came, in haste they left. That's how these three brothers operated. Jiang Xiaobai felt like he was in a dream. Why were these three brothers so bizarre? Is it really true that if they can beat you, they'll pound you to a pulp, but if they can't, they'll just run away? And it looked like the three brothers' main attack method depended entirely on the black bandages around their bodies. Their collective strength was great when they teamed up, and in Jiang Xiaobai's opinion, they were much stronger than when two people joined forces, but these three guys vanished in an instant, leaving no clue. Even if Jiang Xiaobai wanted to capture them, he had no way of doing it. It all left him a bit headache. After the three disappeared, Jiang Xiaobai did not leave, but went on to clean up the battlefield. All the black-clothed people who came to surround him had been destroyed. Only Ze managed to escape, but the storage rings on these men were still here. As the saying goes, it's stupid not to take advantage of what's given. There was no reason for him to refuse the perks delivered to his doorstep. Once all the storage rings were collected, Jiang Xiaobai made a quick escape and soon appeared not far from the edge of the Dragon Valley. After cleaning himself up and getting rid of the bloody smell, he walked towards the entrance of the Dragon Valley. The gatekeeper of the Dragon Valley, upon seeing it was Jiang Xiaobai, came up to him. "Son-in-law, where on earth did you go? You've been gone for days and the princess is furious." "Exactly, son-in-law, you better hurry inside. Otherwise, the princess is going to tear us apart." Both men, upon seeing Jiang Xiaobai, began talking incessantly, almost as if they wanted to kneel down to him. Jiang Xiaobai was somewhat stunned for a moment, puzzled as to why Ao Yen would be furious. Even though he couldn't figure it out, he knew that if he didn't go into the Dragon Valley right now, he might be smacked to death by Ao Yen. Immediately, he walked into the Dragon Valley. But, he didn't rush back to his small courtyard right away. Instead, he sneakily ran to the third elder. "You kid, you've been gone for 7 or 8 days. Where have you been?" The third elder glared at Jiang Xiaobai in displeasure. But as she was about to scold him further, she suddenly widened her eyes. She found that Jiang Xiaobai had actually reached the middle stage of qi refining. "You've already broken through?" The third elder's eyes were as wide as a cow's. "Hee, I accidentally seem to have broken through." Jiang Xiaobai scratched his head, looking somewhat helpless, which irritated the third elder. She had never seen anyone with such strong talents for cultivation. It had only been a few days. "Elder, what's been happening in the Dragon Valley these past few days? I heard that Ao Yen seems to be angry." Jiang Xiaobai had a pot of good wine in his hand, which he handed to the third elder with a grin. Seeing the fine wine, the third elder gave a cold hum and took the jug. "You're still in the mood to talk. When you visited me last time, I thought you'd informed Ao Yen as well. But then you suddenly disappeared and nobody knew where you'd gone. Ao Yen thought something had happened to you." "I see." Jiang Xiaobai was even more confused. Listening to the third elder, it seemed that Ao Yen thought something had happened to him, and it seemed that there was a hint of worry in it. But this shouldn't be the case. Although Jiang Xiaobai was Ao Yen's son-in-law, the relationship between Jiang Xiaobai and Ao Yen was not like that Otia husband and wife, but somewhat like a superior-subordinate relationship. Logically, Ao Yen should be indifferent to his fate, so why would she be angry about this? Without realizing it, Jiang Xiaobai felt warmth in his heart. It seemed that Ao Yen really did care for him. Get back quickly. A couple's quarrels are a commonplace. The bed-end quarrel can be settled at the bedhead. There's nothing to fuss about. Don't throw tantrums and run away as soon as you quarrel. The third elder took a swig of the wine and said casually. His words nearly choked Jiang Xiaobai to death. "Ahem, elder, it's not what you think." Jiang Xiaobai laughed awkwardly, then said no more. After playing with Linger a bit, he walked out, but no sooner had he left than he ran into Ao Cheng who was coming towards him. "You're great, Jiang Xiaobai. Where the hell did you disappear to these few days and end up upsetting my sister like this? Upon seeing Jiang Xiaobai, Ao Cheng was furious. He immediately came up to grab Jiang Xiaobai by the collar and started dragging him outside. Only then did Jiang Xiaobai notice that Ao Cheng's face was bruised and he was limping as he walked, as if he had been beaten. What are you looking at? You still have the nerve to look. If it wasn't for you sneaking out, would I have been punished by my sister? Ao Cheng was furious. It's all because of you. Now my sis thinks I have led you astray. Damn it, even if you go out, at least leave a message. Jiang Xiaobai dared not say a word in response, but simply followed Ao Cheng back to the small courtyard. Standing at the entrance to the courtyard, Jiang Xiaobai could feel a chilling aura wafting from inside. It seemed as if there was a ferocious beast inside the courtyard, and the moment he entered, he was sure to be dead. Jiang Xiaobai suddenly felt chills. He dared not go in. What are you standing there for? Will you go in already? Ao Cheng grumbled, then turned to the courtyard and shouted, Sis, I've brought Jiang Xiaobai back. The first thing this bastard does when he gets back is not find you but goes to the third elder. There was no sound from inside the courtyard, but Jiang Xiaobai could clearly feel the surrounding temperature dropping precipitously. Ao Cheng shrank his neck and without uttering a word, turned and ran. He was only too familiar with the scene. Every time Ao Yen was about to beat him up, it was like this. At this point, Jiang Xiaobai knew that he had no choice. With a sheepish grin on his face, he slowly pushed the door open and went in. Upon entering the courtyard, he saw Ao Yen sitting on a chair, drinking tea with a calm expression. Her eyes were slightly closed, and she did not look at Jiang Xiaobai. Well, I had to leave rather abruptly before, and you weren't here, so I didn't have time to tell you. Jiang Xiaobai spoke directly, displaying a very sincere apology. Although he didn't have any experience with women in his past life, there's a saying that one doesn't have to eat a pig to know that it's fat, isn't there? Why not just emulate how the leading male characters in TV shows treat their leading ladies? Firstly, be sincere. Secondly, prioritize Ao Yen. And most importantly of all, admit that it's all your fault. I was wrong. Jiang Xiaobai said directly to Ao Yen. Upon hearing this, the calm expression on Ao Yen's face seemed to soften. She slowly looked up at Jiang Xiaobai. You were wrong. Why do you say so? Or rather, where did you go wrong? Chapter 67, Chapter 67, Chapter 67, Wooing a Woman. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 67, Chapter 67, Wooing a Woman, Translator, 549690339. Well, I apologize, I didn't tell you when I left earlier. I understand if you got worried, that was my mistake. Why should I, a princess, worry about you? You're just a clueless mortal. If you die, you die. Every day countless mortals die in this world. What makes you so special? Ao Yen replied with a playful smile on her face. Jiang Xiaobai was at a loss for words. He had never realized Ao Yen could be this harsh. However, it seemed like she was just playing with him. Just when the atmosphere was about to grow tense again, Jiang Xiaobai had a flash of inspiration. He quickly pulled out an item and strode toward Ao Yen. Hey, look at this. This is what I bought for you outside. Do you think it's pretty? Jiang Xiaobai smiled. Ao Yen gave a light snort, not even bothering to glance at the object in Jiang Xiaobai's hand, and continued to sip her tea. Seeing this, Jiang Xiaobai decided to put on a thick skin and walked up to offer her a shoulder massage, but Ao Yen looked up suddenly, her eyes flashing with anger. Get lost, I don't want to see you. Ao Yen said coldly. Jiang Xiaobai nodded in understanding. He knew that anything he said would be futile at this time. It would take a while for Ao Yen to cool down, so he figured he'd better try again later. He left the item on the table and stepped out of the yard. However, as soon as he had left the yard, the frosty atmosphere within dissipated. Ao Yan's face softened, and she even looked a bit surprised. Strange, why do I feel relieved when I see this guy return? Ao Yen murmured, squinting her eyes. She understood that this was the feeling of worrying about someone. But why would she worry about Jiang Xiaobai? With a snort, Ao Yen decided to ignore it and shifted her gaze to the object on the table. It was a bracelet made from a fragrant type of wood found on the mortal plane. The bracelet was simple and had a small pillar hanging from it. Jiang Xiaobai saw it when he was shopping in Spring Lake City. At first glance, he thought it would look beautiful on Ao Yan's wrist. Without thinking, he bought it right away. As for whether Ao Yen would accept it, Jiang Xiaobai hadn't considered it. He thought he would just buy it first and think about it later. Now, Ao Yen was carefully examining the bracelet in her hand. It was delicate and lovely. She subconsciously tried to put it on but hesitated and decided to store it in her storage ring. Then, with a calm expression, she continued to drink her tea as if nothing had happened. Occasionally, a faint smile could be seen at the corners of her mouth. Elsewhere, after dashingly running away from the small courtyard, Jiang Xiaobai went straight to the dragon throne room, where the clan leader Ao1 was sitting. Engrossed in reading a book, hearing someone enter, Ao1 did not even raise his head and casually asked, "Was your trip to the foot of the mountain fun? You finally remembered to come back?" Cough, Chief Ao1, I have some urgent matters to attend to. Jiang Xiaobai cleared his throat. Ao1 nodded, let's not make a habit of this. This time, because of you. Yener almost tore down Tianyuan City. Jiang Xiaobai was taken aback. He hadn't expected Ao Yen to be capable of such a thing. Ao1 then continued, you're not a child anymore. The purification elixir is very important to the Dragon Valley, and currently, you're the only person who can refine it. It wouldn't be good if something happened to you. Furthermore, even if you leave the mountain, don't let anyone know that you can refine the purification elixir, otherwise you'll have endless troubles. Jiang Xiaobai nodded in acknowledgement and then headed to the pill furnace and began alchemy. When he returned to Dragon Valley it was around noon. He had been refining the purification elixir in the Dragon Throne Room all afternoon before he finally showed signs of fatigue. It wasn't a pretense, he was genuinely tired. After running non-stop for such a long time without rest, all he wanted to do now was lay down and get a good sleep. Feeling a bit worn out, he walked to the door of the small courtyard. As he was about to open the door, the system's voice resounded in his head, congratulations, host. You've triggered a selection. Option 1, cheer up Ao Yen, reward, a strand of merit. Option 2, go back and go straight to sleep, reward, a fragment of a sky spirit treasure. Option 3, spend the night outside, reward, a fragment of a sky spirit treasure. Without a second thought, he chose the first option. If he chose either of the other two, he was afraid he would never see Ao Yen again. Even though he wanted to win over Ao Yen, he still had to switch between kindness and sternness. Moreover, if he messed up, he had to face it and take responsibility for it. Immediately, he pushed the door open and walked in, only to find Ao Yen still sitting in the yard under the moonlight, drinking tea. Two trembling maids stood beside her, clearly a bit afraid of Ao Yen. The weary look on Jiang Xiaobai's face immediately disappeared, and he quickly walked toward Ao Yen with a smile. Why haven't you rested yet? Have you eaten dinner? He asked. Ao Yen merely glanced at Jiang Xiaobai and said nothing more, continuing to sip her tea as if she didn't even know him. Jiang Xiaobai was somewhat at a loss. He walked over to one of the maids and asked, has the princess been sitting here all day without eating anything? Your Highness, ever since the princess found out that you went down the mountain, she has been sitting here drinking tea. We maids have changed the teapot hundreds of times. Please persuade her to eat, the maid replied, lowering her head in distress. Hearing this, Jiang Xiaobai was dumbfounded. He hadn't expected this. It seemed that Ao Yen really cared about him. He felt a warmth rising in his heart. Honestly, he had thought that his relationship with Ao Yen was just amicable at best. But he hadn't expected it to be like this. Inevitably, Jiang Xiaobai began to think that he was genuinely falling in love with this woman. Did I ask you to talk? Slap yourself 100 times. Don't stop until your mouth is swollen. Ao Yen suddenly said coldly. The maid who had spoken up sniffled in distress, tears rolling down her cheeks. However, she raised her hand to slap herself. Jiang Xiaobai rushed over to stop her, grabbing her wrist and looking at Ao Yan, why are you taking it out on her? He asked. She's my maid. Ao Yan looked back at Jiang Xiaobai, her face cold as ice. Jiang Xiaobai stared back, unexpectedly resisting Ao Yan. So what? What did she do wrong? Seeing this side of Jiang Xiaobai for the first time, Ao Yan was taken aback. This was the first time he had argued back at her, causing a wave of surprise to wash over her. Just then, Jiang Xiaobai continued, it's just a minor issue. Why bother making a girl's life difficult? Tell you what, I'll cook for you. I promise it will lighten your mood after eating. Immediately after speaking, he chuckled and headed for the kitchen, leaving Ao Yan frowning. Foundation building cultivators don't need to eat, they could live by absorbing the spiritual energy. Whether she ate anything was entirely her own concern. However, she was reminded by Jiang Xiaobai's words that he was just a mortal a month ago. She had impulsively brought him here and then, like a caged canary, had trapped him in Dragon Valley. Suddenly, Ao Yan felt a pang of guilt. At the same time, she was curious to see how the food prepared by a mortal would compare to the food made by those chefs that had spent hundreds of years perfecting their craft in Dragon Valley. Chapter 68, Chapter 68, Chapter 68 The Ancient Clan Arrives. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 68, Chapter 68 The Ancient Clan Arrives. Translator, 549690339. Ao Yan's courtyard had everything, naturally including a kitchen. Being in the kitchen, at all times, were fresh ingredients. Unable to hold back, Jiang Xiaobai rushed into the kitchen and rummaged around to find fresh meat and rice. There and then, he decided he would make Ao Yan a dish of fried rice with egg. Although he knew that cultivating immortality meant abstaining from food, Jiang Xiaobai had watched many dramas in which a major plot point was for the male protagonist to cook for the female protagonist, which was always pleasing to her. At the moment, he could only think of this simple method to cheer up Ao Yan. Right after, Jiang Xiaobai put on his chef hat, donned an apron, and began frying the rice by beating eggs, chopping meat, and falling into a rhythm. Despite being a lazy homebody in his previous life, if he couldn't cook himself, he would have starved to death long ago. Before long, a bowl of steaming chicken fried rice was done. Not just that, Jiang Xiaobai had also added some magical herbs to the rice. Due to his profound knowledge in alchemy, the look of this bowl of fried rice was mouth-watering and had miraculous effects when consumed. Jiang Xiaobai walked out of the kitchen with the fried rice. As soon as Ao Yan caught the aroma, she unconsciously swallowed her saliva. Although she had already abstained from food, the fragrance was so tempting that she couldn't help but salivate. Being caught in such an act made her feel very embarrassed and her face turned even colder. Eat it while it's hot, it'll lose its flavor once it gets cold, Jiang Xiaobai chuckled. Ao Yan glanced coldly at the plate of fried rice in front of her. She really wanted a taste, but due to her pride couldn't simply have at it. Then she made no move, while thinking in her mind what pretext she could use to start eating the rice. Upon seeing this, Jiang Xiaobai smiled suddenly, then walked back into the kitchen, came out with a spoonful of fried rice. I know you're still angry, and I admit I went too far this time. But the situation was dire and you weren't around. I had to act on my own on the spur of the moment. As Jiang Xiaobai explained, he offered a spoonful of rice and said, "Here, let me feed you." This action left Ao Yan in a daze. She stared blankly at Jiang Xiaobai's gentle face and his actions, momentarily losing herself. However, she recovered quickly and snorted coldly, "I have hands. I don't need you." Okay. Jiang Xiaobai chuckled and then added, "Don't worry, next time we go out, I'll inform you and make sure to return as soon as possible." "I won't worry you. Do you think you're worth worrying about?" Disgusted, Ao Yan snorted coldly, casually removing the spoon from Jiang Xiaobai's hand and then put the rice in her mouth. Watching this, Jiang Xiaobai looked at Ao Yan with anticipation, waiting to gauge the effects. It has to be said that sometimes good food really does cheer people up a lot. Ao Yan took a bite of the fried rice and found it to have an exceptional taste. A rich medicinal power seemed to alleviate her internal injuries and toxicity. All of a sudden, Ao Yan looked at Jiang Xiaobai, with surprise flashing in her eyes. As a princess in Dragon Valley, she had tasted many delicacies, but never before had she tasted a simple dish of fried rice that hid beneath it such astonishing power. It could be compared to a god-level pill, even possibly reaching fairy level. How did you do it? Ao Yen stared at Jiang Xiaobai, dumbfounded. Jiang Xiaobai chuckled, it's just frying rice, so how hard could it be? I'm asking how you did it, giving this medicinal power. This is not alchemy. Ao Yen stopped him. You can't do it, Jiang Xiaobai stated sincerely. Suddenly, Ao Yan's face turned black and she seemed to be at a loss for words. Seeing the expression on Ao Yan's face, Jiang Xiaobai was taken aback. He didn't make a mistake. Ao Yan couldn't do what he did. This was alchemy, and not just anyone could master it. He only knew it because of his built-in system. And now? Jiang Xiaobai asked, wondering why Ao Yan was behaving like this. Ao Yan chuckled coldly and didn't say a word. Such a simpleton. Forget it. From now on, you'll make this fried rice for me every day, Ao Yan said indifferently. Jiang Xiaobai was elated. Naturally, I can do that. Didn't all the female leads in movies and dramas fall for the male lead because of this? For a moment, Jiang Xiaobai seemed to know how to win Ao Yan over. This woman turned out to be a foodie. Seeing Jiang Xiaobai so excited, Ao Yan couldn't put her finger on it, but she suddenly felt a strange sensation. It was hard to describe, like a tightly shut window suddenly being pushed open. For the next few days, Jiang Xiaobai lived a full life as a nanny. He arranged 3 meals a day for Ao Yan, and the food was not limited to fried rice. He also cooked other dishes that he knew how to prepare. The overall effect was extremely good. The day after she tried Jiang Xiaobai's lunch, Ao Yan no longer behaved indifferently and even started to look forward to the meal on the 3rd day. After about 4 or 5 days, Jiang Xiaobai led a fulfilling life. He spent mornings cultivating in the Dragon Hall and chatting occasionally with Ao Wan. Despite their minimal interaction, the two became increasingly close. In the afternoons, he would help the 3rd elder clean up the courtyard. Although he was hired to clean up the courtyard, most of his time was spent chatting with Linger and 3rd elder. Despite his gradually improving position in the Dragon Valley, Jiang Xiaobai was always aware of the dangers he faced, not only from the ancient tribe but also from the malice within Dragon Valley, whether it be Ao Tianheng, Ao Xuanhuan, or someone who kept lurking in the shadows. During the past few days, Jiang Xiaobai did not waste his time. Knowing that the ancient tribe would arrive soon, he kept thinking of possible strategies. At the same time, while he was out every day, he also searched around the Dragon Valley looking for anyone that might be plotting against him. Ao Xuanhuan and Ao Tianheng were naturally the main suspects, as Qin Chen had the ability to vanquish all kinds of illusions and was more powerful than the two. He could watch their mansions without being noticed. However, nothing abnormal happened during these days. Ao Tianheng was always looking for opportunities to break through, cursing Qin Chen and Ao Cheng from time to time. Ao Xuanhuan was doing basically the same, but for the most part, she was seen sitting idly, sometimes smiling foolishly. Jiang Xiaobai was unsure what was going on in her mind. Generally, she smiled absurdly from time to time. Possibly, she might be longing for romance. However, with little response from 2 highly suspected targets, Jiang Xiaobai simply couldn't figure out what to do next. Chapter 70, Chapter 70, Chapter 70, Spread the Rumor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 70, Chapter 70, Spread the Rumor. Translator, 549690339. Jiang Xiaobai knew that for the elder to be aware of the Goose clan matters, there had to be a connection between them, so the first thing he needed to do was to figure out how the other party was communicating with the Goose clan. The elder was not in the small courtyard at the time, so Jiang Xiaobai simply infiltrated the room, waiting stoutly for the elder to return. Just as he was about to doze off out of sheer boredom, the room door was pushed open. He instantly woke up, concealing his presence while also activating the array board. Although the array board had multiple benefits, it could only be used in fixed locations. As soon as the elder entered, he took out a token from his storage ring. Jiang Xiaobai immediately understood that this was how they communicated with each other. The elder focused momentarily before tossing the token to the side. The message had been sent, but no one knew what the elder had communicated. Jiang Xiaobai guessed that it was probably related to Dragon Valley. Next, the elder began to cultivate. when a certain realm is reached, a significant portion of a person's life is spent in secluded cultivation, aiming to break through to higher realms. Instantly, Jiang Xiaobai knew his chance had come. He had already placed some unique pills in the room, which were designed to cause diarrhea. Yes. Even the formidable cultivator of this elder would not be able to resist without antidote. The pill had been ground into powder and spread through the room. It was colorless, tasteless, and did not resonate with spirit energy, making it undetectable unless closely inspected. Jiang Xiaobai was very confident about this. As expected, before long, the elder suddenly opened his eyes, clutching his stomach. Jiang Xiaobai could hear the elder's stomach grumbling. What's happening? Why am I experiencing such a violent reaction? The elder frowned deeply. His expression was ferocious, as if he wanted to suppress the situation from escalating further, but this pill had another terrifying effect. Once the spiritual energy within the body started circulating, it accelerated the effects of the pill. Less than 10 seconds after he began to suppress his spiritual energy, the elder could no longer hold on. He rushed out of the room, leaving the token behind. After all, I possess the skill to concoct pills of the Grand Master. If this pill's effect isn't enough to floor you, that would be strange indeed. Pardon me, but I'll send a message in your stead. Jiang Xiaobai smiled to himself, but he didn't take immediate action. He was quite confident in the lasting effects of his pill, guaranteeing the elder would be indisposed for at least an hour. With so much time, he could afford to be cautious. Only after waiting an additional 10 minutes to confirm there were no issues did Jiang Xiaobai fly over to the token. This token remained motionless. Jiang Xiaobai reckoned it was a one-way communication tool. Previously, Ao Yan had brought up this device in a conversation, and Jiang Xiaobai had a rough idea of how to use it. If it was a two-way communication tool, receipt of a message from the other side would consume a short duration of spirit stone storage. Jiang Xiaobai didn't care and began to send a message. After the message was sent, he immediately cleared his presence from the room, making sure everything was as it was, without any discrepancies. He then left quickly. The sequence of actions was as smooth as a flowing stream. One wouldn't know that he wasn't accustomed to doing this if they weren't told. Meanwhile, Gu Bei, who was resting in a tavern, suddenly furrowed his brows. He took out a communication token from his storage ring. The cleansing Dan would be auctioned off in this period. Gu Bei wasn't certain why the other party would send such information his way, but undoubtedly, the words cleansing Dan had firmly grabbed his attention. Everyone in the eastern region of Sky Tsang continent presently knew about the cleansing Dan. It was a valuable treasure capable of thoroughly cleaning all fire poison. Endless powerhouses would buy it to invite various Dan masters to study and break its secrets, and the Gu clan was no exception. The cleansing Dan is in demand and scarce. If I come across it this time, I must get it. Gu Bei had no hesitation about this news. After all, the other party has a high status within Dragon Valley and is in close proximity to Tianyuan City. It's not surprising for them to get such news. Moreover, this time they have provided a very specific address, as well as the auction date. Gu Bei felt it would be unjustifiable if he did not intervene, so he got Mr. Qi to rush over. After discussing for a bit, they felt it was feasible. Good, our Gu clan also needs the cleansing Dan urgently. If we could get some, your evaluation within the clan would only increase. Mr. Qi smiled and said, Master, considering this, our trip to Dragon Valley will be delayed by more than half a month. Should I contact Dragon Valley? Of course, but it's just half a month, they wouldn't be able to prepare much. Gu Bei wore a cruel smile on his face. What does the mortal man want now? Our people in Dragon Valley have all been driven out by Ao Yan, and we can't make contact with the mortal. However, Dragon Valley's attitude is very firm, and they refuse to compromise. Ridiculous, do they not regard my Gu clan, or do they not regard me, Gu Bei? As he said this, Gu Bei's expression grew grim. Go, send Dragon Valley an ultimatum. If the mortal is still alive when I arrive at Dragon Valley, they will bear the consequences. The face of my Gu clan is not something that can be disregarded as they please. Instantly, Mr. Qi bowed in agreement. Meanwhile, Gu Bei started to change his route to head to a nearby major city, the place where the first auction would begin. The time was in 2 days. Back in Dragon Valley, Jiang Xiaobai leisurely strolled back to his small courtyard. All along the way, he considered his current situation. he couldn't interfere much within Dragon Valley as he simply couldn't take down Ao Yen, although he was on good terms with Ao Cheng, who would believe what that good-for-nothing said. Probably not even Ao Cheng himself believed it. The situation with the third elder was also a bit peculiar. For a moment, Jiang Xiaobai felt that his crisis had deepened. The enemy was clearly determined to kill him. I cannot be this passive. If I can improve the living conditions inside Dragon Valley before the Gu clan arrives, perhaps I could survive. Jiang Xiaobai narrowed his eyes, thinking to himself, he didn't believe that Ao Yen and Ao Cheng would help him. It could be said that no one in Dragon Valley would do this, not even if he could concoct the cleansing Dan. By that time, faced with the coaxing and coercion of the Gu clan, what else could he do but give out the formula? And Dragon Valley might quite possibly discard him after he's of no further use, so, it is said that self-help is paramount, his strength is the most important. Otherwise, should I seize an opportunity to absorb the energy from the veins to enhance my power? Jiang Xiaobai began to contemplate the matter of the veins again. As he was thinking, he had already pushed open the courtyard door and stepped in. But just as he entered, he saw Ao Yen sitting in the courtyard drinking tea. He was stunned. Damn it, what does this woman want now?